Welcome to the conversation. It's your girl, Miss Moi, and tonight I'm sitting down with a queen, Paula. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to have a conversation with you because I just feel like I know you. We know the same people, so we just keep doing this. So I said I'm just gonna bring her in, and we're gonna have a conversation.
Perfect. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're
and
welcome.
I agree, we know the same circle of people.
Yeah, so it's just time to talk. Let's do it. If you're watching, please like, share, follow. Thank you for everyone that has been doing that. The show has been a success, and I appreciate you. So now let's get into your story, and then we're going to talk about what you're doing today.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So I want people to learn you and love you.
Okay.
So go back as far as you can. Just imagine yourself as a kid. What were you like?
As a kid, so I've always said I have the gift of gab.
Mm-hmm.
So as a kid, I was always the person who was chatting about something. I would always pretend that I was talking to my siblings. Like, we'd be in a room together.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be talking, of course, as always. But I was always, I just felt like I was supposed to be speaking about something.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, 24/7 sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just, that was one of the things that was, who I was. I always also felt that empowerment was something that had drawn me in.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved women's empowerment. I loved just getting the encouragement from listening to speakers. Even when I was younger, I remember watching episodes of Oprah.
Yes, honey.
As a little kid.
Yes.
Watching some of those daytime talk shows
Mm-hmm.
and hearing them like, wow, this is good stuff.
Yes.
At 7 and 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Who does that?
No, I did it because when I was
perfect.
young, we had a wax museum, and that's who I was. So I get it.
See, perfect. There you go. But I did all sorts of things like that. When I got a little bit older, I started realizing speaking was more, and empowerment was more than just the gift of gab,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the purpose. It was my calling. It was what I was designed and here on a mission to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I started drilling into it, studying the art of speaking, determining, who it was, praying about who I was supposed to be speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
What words am I supposed to share with them? Who's my core audience? Who am I supposed to be reaching out to? Am I encouraging them? And am I empowering them? What does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
And that took, a stream of about 10 years just drilling into that, praying on it, focusing on it, fasting on it. But finally, I feel like God was like, okay, this is what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to empower women. You're going to encourage them and lift them up. This is what you're here for.
Right.
And then was my aha moment. And that's when I started to write the books. That's when I started to, I started booking events. And it was funny. When it all fell into place, it began to just pick up momentum.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing I could do to stop it. There was, not that I tried to,
Mm-hmm.
but it really just picked up, it's on course naturally.
As a child, what was your support system like? Who did you look up to besides Oprah? Who did you talk to? Who inspired you to kind of get you on the path that you decided to later go on?
That is a great question. One of the people that I would say inspired me was, so of course there were certain things at home that I still implement to this day,
Mm-hmm.
but outside of home there were, I'd say sometimes there were even teachers.
Mm-hmm.
There were the instructors in the Girls Inc. courses I took. There were the instructors in the etiquette classes that I took, and these were different things that I would glean from or I would grab a hold of,
Mm-hmm.
and I would implement these things, and over time it became seamlessly integrated into who I was.
Mm-hmm.
These methods of speaking, these words, the verbiage, the mannerisms, things like that, and of course it's all something I'm grateful for, but
Mm-hmm.
those are all things that I paid attention to.
Now, throughout high school, were you a part of anything that showed this talent? Any groups, any
Let me think about
competition? They have all kind of things for speech that you can get involved in and show your skills.
In high school, I did not speak, like, as far as being in any groups, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. as much, but I was a part of a poetry group.
Oh.
And so I actually wrote my first unofficial book in high school. I still have it to this day.
Okay.
It's in a binder.
Yes.
Multiple pages of, different color construction paper, different poems on them. So the poetry group helped me to, I would say, refine my words with writing, refining what that verbiage looked like. And then I felt great after writing my first unofficial poetry book that I still have and haven't published. But
okay,
that was one of the things I took a part of. I would also say my godmother is a social worker. So she and I were always drilling into verbiage, and this is what you speak, or this is what you say when you speak on this. This is how you speak about that. Mannerisms of speaking. This is how it needs to be when you're on stage. This is how you present yourself for this or for that. So, and she spoke quite a bit. She was, in front of a lot of people too. So it helped quite a bit, being that young, having that type of influence around me.
Now, usually when someone gets in empowerment or something to uplift or help people, it's because they experience something different. So throughout your childhood or your teen years, did you experience a type of behavior that you said, nah, this ain't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Growing up, I had a house full of siblings. There was never a dull moment. We had so much fun. However, at the same token, because there were so many of us, I believe there were areas where this empowerment could have taken place, or you could have been built here, you could have been encouraged there. And I noticed those things. And the strange part is I took note of that, and I really can't say there was nothing else but God, in this case. I would think, like, okay, I'm going to do this differently. I'm going to do that differently. I want to work on this. And I would even think of how I would build something or someone up in different situations as a kid. So,
so you were busy.
I don't know how, I just did. And so that was definitely something for me. And that's, I believe, the root of pushing for empowerment for me personally. That's where that started. It usually, like you said, it usually starts at home. So that's where it came from.
Yeah, either at home or experiences that you have when you're young, where you're like, you know what, this is the wrong way to do this. This is really mean. I don't like this. Let's show the world something different. So you made it through high school. What did you do after?
After high school, I went off to college. So in college is when I also was starting to realize that I was supposed to speak, that I was supposed to encourage and build people up. So I had a discussion with someone in college, and this was a huge experience for me, which challenged me to drive forward into purpose. I had a conversation with an individual in leadership. I shared that I believe I'm supposed to speak. I believe I'm supposed to encourage, empower, etc. And they discouraged it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so.
How so? Like, what did that sound like?
It was, I don't believe this is what you are supposed to do.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
one of those. Okay.
Well, absolutely. One of those. And so what I did from that was I powered through it anyway. I just knew that I was called for this, that I was purposed for this, and there was nothing that anyone could say to keep me from that. So,
well, kudos to you.
Thank you.
Because you definitely could have been like, oh man, maybe I can't. Yeah.
So I also encourage people to, the first thing is you can't share your dream with everybody.
Absolutely not.
You can't share your purpose, your mission, your calling with everybody. And when they discourage you and you know you're supposed to do it, power through it anyway.
Yeah.
Do it anyway.
Yeah.
So that was one of the other defining moments I would say I encountered. After school, I started in the working industry, met some great people along the way who affirmed, who confirmed, everything, just built up what I knew was there.
Yeah.
And it's almost as though the people that knew it was there, they could see it. They could tell it was there.
Yeah.
Sometimes without me even having said a word, they just knew it was there. So that was something else that helped along the way.
Another thing too, like when you have a calling in a particular area, even if you try to do something else, or you're working somewhere else, it's like you get these little nuggets in time that say, okay, but go back this way, and that's God like shifting you, like, no, this is really it, this is it. So when did you get that aha moment? You do watch Oprah.
Yes, I love Oprah. I got the aha moment in 2014. So I'd known I was supposed to speak prior to that, but in 2014 I sang at a church event, and someone came up to me after and said, "Your purpose to speak." And I was like, okay, this is interesting. And so she then started going into details with things that she completely prophesied this entire thing. She knew me nothing from anywhere.
Okay.
So she was just confirming what I'd already known.
Yeah.
And it was, okay, I see it. I know it. I've been hearing it. It's been confirmed. I'm just going to walk in it now.
Right.
I'm just going to start building on this thing, and I'm going forward no matter what.
Right.
And so that happened. Well, a few months later, I had to sing at another event. It happened again, different person.
Okay.
Different church, different individuals were around me. And so at that,
and was the verbiage similar?
The verbiage was almost exactly the same.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, God, I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm going forward now. And so from there, I just started trudging forward and haven't stopped.
So what are some of the things from that moment you experienced? Like, what did you do to say, okay, now I'm going to bring this full circle. I'm going to make this happen because I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh, geez. So many things. The first thing was I started thinking about what the process looked like. I envisioned myself operating in purpose. And it took some time. I sat still. I got quiet. I shut down communications for a while. I unplugged from social media for a few weeks. It was just me, God, and my notebook. And I was writing, just some details about purpose. What am I called to do? What does that look like? Am I going here? Am I going there? Am I singing places? Am I encouraging? Am I ministering? Am I just giving an empowerment speech? Exactly what does this look like? And so after doing that, literally, I'm telling you, it took a few weeks for me to just comb through all the details here. I developed a plan. My roadmap is what I called it.
Okay.
And so there were certain things that I was going to start creating first. I was going to start with my package. I was going to start with the business cards, the email account, all that stuff, like the minor logistics of building up what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Those were all in the roadmap. And then I was thinking, okay, well, how are people going to know this is what I offer? How are people going to know who I am?
Right.
And at that point, I called a few people. Hey, if you're having an event, let me know. I will come speak for you, or if you need someone to sing, I'll come sing for you. If you're having just an empowerment event, a breakfast or brunch, let me know. I want to be your speaker. I won't charge. And it started there. But the funny part about just operating in purpose was, as soon as I started doing that, I was getting calls from people, random calls that I hadn't reached out to, and they were saying, hey, we want you to come speak for this. We want you to come. The momentum, naturally, it picked up.
Yeah.
And at this point, it hasn't really slowed down, and I'm grateful for that. I'd really just, my goal is to continue on with the course of momentum that I've been on.
So throughout the time of not only you figuring out, this is my path, this is where I'm going, this is my calling, this is what I'm supposed to do, what would you tell somebody who's kind of like, this keeps knocking me on the head, is this for me? What would you tell somebody about keying in on their calling?
First thing I would do is stay focused. Stop, sit still. Obviously, it's recurring because you're supposed to hear it. It's a continual process. Sometimes God will, me and my friends joke about this all the time, God will smack you on the back of the head to get you, or to get your attention. Sometimes you're not paying attention. You're busy because you're working on this or that, or maybe it's work, life, whatever that balance is. But when you know that there's a nudge, it's not going to stop until you operate in purpose. It doesn't matter what position you hold, how highly paid you are, or how underpaid you are. It won't stop until you operate in purpose. So I would say focus, stop enough to hear what the purpose is. Stop enough to hear what that is.
Yeah.
Take note and then execute.
Yeah.
And once you execute, there will be people, as you've probably experienced, that will speak against what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
There will be people that will, they'll openly speak against it. They might privately speak against it. They'll discourage you. Do it anyway.
Do it anyway.
Power forward.
Yeah.
Full execution. Do it anyway.
Yeah. That's something that I say all the time. Do it anyway, because there are people like that.
Yeah.
That will say, well, shouldn't you be? And don't you think you should? And I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, just because you don't know doesn't mean it's not necessarily for me. What is an example of some of the events that you have spoken at?
I've spoken at a women's conference. Actually, one of the most recent ones was Our Ladies' Night Out for the Hope Project. That event we shifted. It was supposed to be in person. We had to shift to virtual because of the COVID posture. But it went really well. Because it was virtual, we got a lot more women than we were initially expecting because of the guidelines. But it went really well. So, and that was a specific event pertaining to the word and ministering. So, but there have been other events where I've ministered. There have been events where it's just women's empowerment. But it's all things encouragement, because I believe there's no encouragement without word. It's all rooted in the word anyway.
Yeah.
But it's all like to lift someone up.
What does empowerment mean to you?
Great question. So empowerment to me is to push you forward. It's to so the root word is being M, which the root is ENN, basically means into, and to power means to force into, you're basically forcing into. So my mission is to force you into encouragement. It's to force you into purpose. I'm supposed to be, the person who pushes you. If I've not pushed you or empowered you during the time that we've connected, not today, but in general, that's my mission. If I've not done that during an interaction, that means I haven't done my job. And it's not a personal thing that I'm seeking to do.
Yeah.
It's who I'm supposed to be. It's my purpose.
Right. Why do you think women sometimes have issues with empowerment, collaboration, coming together, teamwork? What do you think is the root, or what is missing?
That is another great question.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So I believe one of the issues that women encounter, unfortunately, is there is a lot of comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
No one needs that.
Right.
Now, another thing is, unfortunately, I'm sure you've seen this too, there may be cattiness or even issues of low self-esteem, things like that. So the goal is, if someone within my realm, my little circle or sphere of people, if they have issues with self-esteem or anything like that, I want to empower you.
Yeah.
And then I want to get you where it is that you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I think what we're missing as women is the will to go forward together. Together, absolutely. And I say that because when you look out at just Indy alone, for example, so many women they're broken, they're hurting, they're in despair, they have low self-esteem, so many issues, unfortunately. And with all of the women's empowerment groups or women's empowerment speakers, I believe with all of us, there should be no reason, if we band it together, there should be no reason that as many women feel as low as they do.
Right.
I think we just need to develop together the will to do this thing together. We just need to execute it together.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
I think another thing too is you got to be willing.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's the will.
You have to be willing
Yeah.
to do it. You have to be willing to work together, to understand each other, and to, like you said, get rid of the comparison.
Yes.
I think just as women, we are kind of embedded to believe some negative things about ourselves and about each other. And it's not fair to you because you're walking around with this perception that isn't even real. And you're assuming the people that you meet or that you come across are going to be a certain way, or they're going to see you a certain way, or whatever. And it keeps a lot of division.
Yes.
I think empowerment is, like you said, the collective. If we could just come together and make some things happen, I think we could make a major difference.
I absolutely agree.
So thank you so much for saying that. So what are some of the projects that you've done? I know you gave me an amazing gift when you got here. Thank you so much for this.
Welcome.
What is this?
That is my book, You're My Strength. It's a women's devotional. It's my first published project. I just wrapped up another book.
Okay.
I'm excited about that one. So that one, the details will be online. Actually, I believe it's already on Facebook, but I'll, continue to share that one. It's another women's devotional. Now, I'm currently working on a project about finances.
Okay.
Financial literacy.
Okay.
It's huge.
Okay.
It's important.
Come on, financial literacy.
It's important.
Yes, it is.
I am working on that right now, as well as a book on motivation. This one's called Motivation in Motion. And so that's just not just building the momentum, but keeping it going, because motivation happens in the spur of a moment.
Yeah,
but what
absolutely.
happens after you hear that powerful speech?
Right.
What happens after you leave the service and the word was good?
Yeah.
Are you still carrying that through during the week? Are
Right.
you still, you still
Right.
doing what you're supposed to do?
Yeah.
Are you still fulfilling the purpose 2 weeks after you left that women's conference?
Right. Right.
So that's one of the other projects I'm working on.
So what got you into writing? Because speaking is one thing.
Yes.
Writing is something totally different.
I have always written. I was the kid who colored on the desk.
Okay. You were busy. Okay.
I was very busy. Very busy as a kid. Yes, so I've always loved writing. That was also another passion of mine. And when I finally decided to tap into purpose, writing was one of those other things that I knew that I was purposed to do. Because some people will never click on your video. They will never come to hear you speak, but they will pick up your book. They will read about it. And so that was another avenue of empowering or building someone up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's always been a thing for me.
So what do we have to look forward to in your books? Like this one. What exactly is it?
You Are My Strength is a women's devotional. It has 30 entries in it. So it is to empower you, to encourage you when you feel like you're at your absolute weakest moments, your lowest places. Pick up You Are My Strength. It's available on Amazon.
Okay.
It's a great piece of work, I do believe. It gives you biblical-based encouragement. It also gives you space in the book to reflect. So you're not just reading, but after each entry that you read, it's giving you some time to think on where you are, what is it that you can do differently, and then how you go forward. So
the new one that you're working on, is it similar?
The new one is very similar. It's a similar project. This one has multiple entries. It's over 100 pages.
Okay.
So
You've been busy.
Very busy.
Okay.
Yes, I love writing, love speaking, but this one has over 100 pages in it. So I'm really excited about that one. It is called Flowers That Bloom. Yes, so that one it's more geared towards women. So for that, it's just encouragement to let women know you may be planted, but flowers do bloom. They do bloom. You may be in a low place or in a dark place, but once seeds are planted, what do? They grow, they sprout. They don't stay in that dark place. So that's another devotional. That one's really good. I'm excited about it.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
And so do you see yourself continuing to put out literature?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
after that first book,
Uh-huh.
it was my personal goal to just take a few months and rest. I was committed to not writing anything else. I said, okay, this book's out. Thank God. I am done writing for a while. Well, what had taken place is a momentum was created,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't stop writing.
Right.
And so now I literally can't stop writing.
I get it. Sometimes you get caught in a groove and you're like, oh, if I pull this off, I can do this and I can do that. Yeah.
Yes.
I totally get it.
Now with the books,
Mhm.
they're also all being published. The 2 existing ones were published through Simply Published.
Mhm.
So I've launched a publishing company.
Okay.
So much busy. The Simply Published was recently launched, and right now we're undergoing details with the face of the company. But the goal in it is to simply publish the books. No extras, no overcharging, no gimmicks, no fine lines. Just we want to publish the books, get them out for people. And that was something else I do believe I was supposed to do. No sooner than I decided I was going to do it, I already had inquiries before it was even official.
Awesome.
And so now that it's official, inquiries have been pouring in. So I'm excited
awesome.
about that.
So what are all of the projects and businesses that you are involved in currently?
Oh, geez. Do you have time?
I
I'm just
do.
kidding.
I got time.
So I have a company. I own Simply Published, LLC. I also own my empowerment company, Empowered by PC. I am employed right now through the finance industry. I've been in the finance industry now since 2014. Love the industry. I love financial literacy. It's a huge thing. I think we need to know more about it.
Absolutely. I agree.
I am the director at the Hope Project, Indianapolis, and I'm excited about it. We're having a huge event coming up April 18th. You guys check the website or check our Facebook page, the Hope Project. Check it out.
Tell them a little bit more about the event.
Oh, of course. Perfect. So, the Hope Project is hosting a citywide baby shower, you guys. This will take place on April 18th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. If you are an expecting mother in need, please go visit the Facebook page. The criteria is on there. All you'll have to do to register is send us an email with the criteria. We'll get you registered, and you guys will be good to go. Again, that's April 18th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Can't wait to see you guys there.
I can't wait to be there.
I'm excited, and
I'm
we're
excited.
so glad to have you guys there.
Absolutely.
This is going to be exciting.
It's going to be bomb. It's going to be a good time.
Yes, I agree.
Absolutely. I'm happy to, when you're in empowerment, you kind of touched on this a little bit ago. It's like you have to do it. You have to follow the calling. You have to. So when I knew that I could be a part of this, I said Lipstick Entertainment is definitely on board, and we're going to donate and show up and do our thing. So I'm very excited. You guys want to donate? Donations are being collected, correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Yes, they are. Reach out to us through Facebook, you guys, or my Facebook, PC Campbell, and inbox me or inbox us through the Hope Project's website or Facebook page, or you can go to the website, thehopeprojectindy.com. We are accepting donations for this citywide baby shower. If you know someone who should register, pass the information along to them. Reach out to us if you have questions. We are always available for you guys.
Awesome. Thank you for that. They needed to know.
They
It's a
did.
perfect
I
time.
agree.
They needed to know. So moving forward, what does life look like for you?
Life for me, that is a very good question.
You keep saying that.
It is, because it's making me, it's captivating. It's a great question. It makes me think. And I love questions like that. So, life for me going forward would be to operate a successful and well-run publishing company, to speak a lot more women's empowerment events, ministering to women in need, picking and building people up. That's my goal above all else, empowerment. Everything else is secondary. But from here forward, my personal goals, I'd say within the next 5 years, is to operate full-time empowering people, to operate the publishing company on a full-time basis, and to interact with you guys, as we encounter each other and to leave each and every single one of you encouraged or empowered. That is what it looks like for me going forward.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Well, I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. Absolutely.
Thank you. Likewise.
Because I said I need to bring her on. We keep seeing each other.
Yes.
We keep running into each other. We might as well have the conversation. And so I'm so happy that you did. Tell people how to follow you and find you and all of that.
Yes, you guys, reach out to me. I am on Facebook right now. My personal page is PC Campbell. Again, that's PC Campbell. Send me an inbox if you have any questions. I'm usually posting something encouraging or something positive on Facebook. Reach out to my empowerment page. It is Empowered by PC. It's also on Facebook. Simply Publish is undergoing just some general makeup right now. So Simply Published will be available for viewing again within the next couple of weeks for you guys. So if you have publishing inquiries or you're looking to publish, or even if you're an aspiring author, check us out. And even though Simply Published is not available, you're still welcome to send your publishing inquiries at this time to my personal page, and that's PC Campbell.
Awesome. Well, I thank you so much for coming on the conversation and having the conversation. How'd it go?
Awesome. It went really well.
See? I told you it was going to be easy peasy.
Yes.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for sharing your comments, all of that. It's going well. I appreciate you. Stay tuned.